Hello, one and all. Welcome to the Planar Podcast. I'm Gavin. I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts and our wonderful guest. And we'll start introducing ourselves, starting with my friend Crook. How are you today, sir?
I am dead, but also I am good. Hello, everybody.
Rape in peace.
I am Crook. I will speak in accent for the rest of the podcast.
And Crook, who do
You
you
will
play?
have to reintroduce yourself now.
And Crook, who do you play on Planar Marches?
I play Kinton El Shannon. She is a wonderful little girl who is nice and sweet, and you should all go give her head pats because she likes head pats.
Good to know. Not the answer I was expecting. Evie, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm doing great. I'm Evie. I play Pidge on the server. And Pidge is going through a bunch of shit. A lot of DMs trying to touch Pidge. Just so that's fun. It's all really interesting.
It's all good.
And it's all good. But yo, the DMs.
And normally I
We're trying
ask
to
what you
touch.
guys were up to this week, but got a call on the side. That was interesting. But anyways, you know who you are if you just called me.
This is my real podcast. This is my podcast.
Normally I'd ask what you guys did this week, but we're gonna save that one for later. Daleth, our wonderful guest, our adorable, futuristic, mysterious. I couldn't come up with any more adjectives, but how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks.
Welcome
I love you.
to the Planar Podcast, my friend.
Great to be
We
here.
have a pretty cool show for you guys this week. We're doing things a little bit differently. The past few weeks, this is episode 6, by the way, not 7, because last week was also 6, and this one is actually 6. So, last week's episode was with Schizo.
You could have gone so long without telling anybody.
I know.
Nobody noticed.
No one would know.
Nobody would know. We
Well-
could have done it until double digits, and we could have been like, "This is episode 10," and now this is also episode 10.
Well, the problem is people don't even know what episode it is, like, on a normal day, you know?
I don't know what day it is on a normal day.
There you
so...
go. See, you're getting the right idea. So, what was I going to say? We're doing things a little bit differently this week. We're actually going to interview our guest because for the last few weeks we've been doing sort of a D&D podcast, but not really a Planar Marches podcast. And
Yeah.
you guys can give us feedback on that. At the end of the day, we want this to be a podcast for the server by the server, right? As cheesy as that sounds. And part of that is talking more about things that are currently happening in the server, as guided by you guys in chat, and by our guest, and by our hosts. But we want to do more. We want to get to know the players better, because these are the players that you guys are interacting with. So, starting this episode, we're going to go quickly over some of the current events happening, things that we thought were cool, and then we'll just really get into interviewing Daleth. And we'll take Twitch chat questions throughout the entire show. In the future, when we announce our guest, let us know if you have any questions you'd like us to ask, and if you can't make it live. And yeah, pretty cool. So, a few things to talk about, but first, we had some. Hold on, I gotta get the song. Hold on, I have to get a song.
I know. I'm just preparing for the sad.
Okay, just you guys talk about something while I go get the song.
Okay, God damn it.
Well, Dale, I love you.
Yeah.
Did you know that
I love
you
you
are?
too.
Did you know that you're my husband?
I didn't, but no objections.
All right. Yep. Yeah.
Not even the fact that she's taken. Oh wait, here it is. The set.
Oh, it's so sad. This week, Planar Marches. Pretty much yesterday, actually. We lost so many good people.
One guy.
A good person.
Just one guy.
Shut up. Avash. Avash. The charming inferno is snuffed out. Today, the flames of passion are extinguished. Today, the charming inferno that burned brighter than the blazes of the great foundry. And yet, in the end, the cinders were not enough, and Avash has perished. Paris. Abducted Vincenzo, nowhere to be found ever again. Travis Willingham walks off into the distance.
It's just a picture of Travis.
Travis Willingham
It's just
staring
420.
directly into the camera.
Just for the record.
And Remus need moon. Remus go outdoor where moon is.
shit.
Okay, so that was the in memoriam for this week. So last week, Raiden took over as our co-host because Evie wasn't available. Did you watch that episode at all? Any of it?
Listen,
I know I know you have a lot to do, so I know
I
it's an
have
okay
literally
answer.
nothing going on, and I have no excuses. I'm just garbage.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I watched some of it.
So when
So
you
if you're
get
looking for a new co-host,
taking applications in Twitch chat, hit me with your strongest emote. So when you get a chance, I'll ask you this again next week. Crook had to do the in memoriam for you.
Yeah,
So go take a listen to that. That was a treat.
I know that he did that, which is why I stopped. Hopefully, where he stopped. Unless I didn't, in which case, fucking rip. But I think I did.
No, I think you got it.
So we were talking before the podcast started this week. We were doing our prep call. We were doing our call time call, all that
Yes.
good stuff.
Uh-huh.
To make sure that Daleth is who he says he is. That he's not a serial murderer who's going to kill us on the show in the studio. Right?
I mean, we didn't prove that Daleth is not that. So
Really, we
I'm
just the guest has
All
to
we
bring
did
the
us.
walls of the studio would look better in red, is all I'm saying.
All that the guest has to do is bring us donuts, and we let him in the room anyways.
Yeah.
But so the topic we want to start with is why the podcast is on a Saturday this week.
oh, okay. Listen,
So
Gavin was like, "Hey, I don't want to do the podcast on Thursday because I want to watch Infinity War."
it's true, and to be fair, I didn't get spoiled for Infinity War, so mission accomplished, right? Shout outs to everyone who's watched Infinity War. So that was Thursday. What happened Friday?
Friday, I had a game. Crook was in it.
Hello.
That Ave, our lovingly English lady DM, she had been like, she was spending so much time setting it up, and she was like cucked out of it every week, where she was like, "Oh, I can't play because my internet fucking died." And then it's been like four weeks that we've been like trying to actually set this one encounter up specifically because the first time that it was happening, my innards exploded. The second time her internet died. The third time she had a family emergency, she couldn't. And then like it was like, oh, all right. So this one was actually scheduled before the podcast was rescheduled, and Evie is an idiot.
So it's Crook.
And we both told Gavin, "Hey, this is fine. We can do that tomorrow." It turns out we couldn't do that tomorrow because that's when the game was. and then yesterday we were like, "Oh, okay, let's just do it today." And now it's today. Hi.
So welcome to the
Hello.
Planar Podcast Saturday edition. Now, I had this story about getting pulled over by the police for some analogy and metaphor, and I forgot what the original part, what I was originally getting at.
You fool!
I forgot what I was getting at.
Save it for the podcast. We told you to write it down.
But
We
what
told you to write
what
it
brought
down.
that up? What was I?
You were
It was
yelling
this
at us
conversation.
because you were like, "Hey, did any of you guys see Infinity War?" And we were like, "No, we were doing shit." And he was like, "But I gave you guys a day off to go watch Infinity War." And we were like, "You gave you a day off to go watch Infinity War."
But what did we say after that? There was something.
I don't know. Oh, there's a bug on my window. Luckily, it's not inside the window, so hopefully it just
It can
goes
probably
away.
still kill you from out there.
Yeah, it has laser eyes that go through.
Listen, I don't know what bug it is, so that could be real.
So all of that said, this week was the week that I decided not to put out a prior announcement because really I want to talk to a lot of people about this. We'll see what we're going to do about announcements in the future for the podcast because let's face it, I've got 12 Twitch viewers right now who are 12 of my best friends, and there's like 250 people on the server. So trying to figure out what the good balance for that is. So it's a good thing we didn't announce it because we delayed it 2 days. So if you look at the banner below the channel, if you're watching on Twitch live right now, not on YouTube, it does say Thursday through Sunday. Sometime between Thursday through Sunday is the show. So we're technically on time. We just are kind of irresponsible.
Yeah. It's okay. We're just
Listen,
really good at our jobs that we don't get paid for.
we are allowed to be like, "Hey, I'm a fucking idiot."
Exactly.
At least
Can't
3
blame us.
times in a row.
At least 3 times in a row before
And the
you can
first
fire
time it
us.
was you.
Gem Kids, I know exactly 2 people here, but I'll be a best friend if that's okay. Well, Gem Kids, you have 4 best friends right here on the Planar
Yeah.
Podcast.
Also,
Hello.
out yourself. I don't know who you are.
That's what I'm. Don't worry about it.
So
What?
yeah,
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. All right, fine, whatever. I'm
So,
fine.
a few things happened in the server this week. First, let's talk Verdant Kai.
Mostly
since
yesterday.
we'll get to that, right? So first off, Verdant Kai is still around the corner, and we recently structured a few things around, and those quests will likely start going up within the next week or 2. So keep an eye on that. All of those quests
Yes.
affect each other in some way. Maybe not entirely, but enough to
matter.
to matter, right?
Yeah.
So
So that's gonna be cool.
I believe you both were you both on the Prep Quest 1 with
Yes.
the Mages Guild or
It was.
what have you?
Yes.
That-
Pigeon
was that-
Fire.
Yeah, that was there.
We killed Kronos.
We killed Kronos. That was neat.
Yeah. Basically, what should we just explain the quest? That'll be a gist. It's really not.
TLDR.
So yeah. So one of the mages guilds in Verdant Kai had been preparing this crazy, essentially just a nuke, and they were going to drop it on this demon lord. But they heard about the stuff that was going on, where we're going to go fight this other demon lord who has our friend, and then they're like, okay, listen, if you can handle that demon that we're about to go nuke, instead of us nuking it, then we'll give you the nuke. And so we're like, yeah, we can fucking kill it. So we did, and now we have a nuke.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that, Prep
That one was
Quest
fun.
was-
There was a lot of points where we could have instantly died.
Very much so.
If Paige rolled 1 dice the wrong way, he just would have been
Instantly
disintegrated
died.
and
Yep.
died.
Because there was a disintegrate that was thrown, and there was a saving
disintegrate
throw
thrown,
that was barely
and,
made.
and I made it, and that is pretty much only because I'm a ranger, and he was a fiend, and his
Oh yeah,
that means that I get advantage.
It was clutch as fuck, honestly.
And that's really a lot of the reason why I play Ranger.
So that quest happened. You guys got a nuke to use on the Demon Queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a second There's a second quest prep tomorrow. In just about 14 hours. And Daleth, you're on that one.
Yeah.
So these are the two main quest preps.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
These are the two main quest preps. There are a few more that have been happening on the side. A few people getting recruited in here and there. But you're gonna try to turn the ideals of a nation tomorrow.
Yeah. Or kill a bunch of people. Depends.
We'll see what happens.
Depends. Honestly, it always depends. There's always a possibility.
Hopefully the suit and the 20 charisma do the work that they're supposed to do. But if not, I do know the spell Eldritch Blast.
So, if you... So, just for some fun stuff about that quest, if you go look in Game 1 right now, I gave all the players homework to read overnight.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was telling Daleth this before the game started. I'm like, if you say something in character and you say, JK, I didn't actually say that, it's not going to be a good time. Yep. You are now playing the game. If any of you have ever played Dragon Age Inquisition or Lay, the game, if you get that reference, shout out to you.
And as everybody knows, if you die in D&D, you die in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So it's really important.
Yeah. If I say one of his NPCs wrong, Gavin shoots me with a gun. That's in the contract that we all signed. So
if you want to chill in that room while that quest is going on, it should be a very good time. You guys can do whatever you want, but let's just say
it's going to be a lot of art.
The tagline I used when I first introduced him to the quest was, "Your standing in court will be as important as your HP meter."
Yep.
That's good.
It's gonna be fun.
I am very interested to play a quest where RP is the central driving force of the conflict.
So
yeah,
about last night.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk 12 hours ago. And about not 12 hours ago, about 20 hours ago, really.
Yeah.
A young boy named Gavin is skipping along the sidewalk in a quest with Schizo that's been lasting for 6 hours when it was listed for 3 to 4. And then suddenly, someone in chat yelled out, "Oh my god, Avash is dead." Take over the story for me.
All right, so it all starts with a dumb fuck named Tenebrae.
As most negative stories featuring Avash do.
As is tradition.
And Tenebrae is Hobbs' character on the server. And Tenebrae, originally, when Ruz was alive, he originally went to Pidge and Ruz and was like, "Hey, I couldn't help but notice that I was there when Pidge saw Avash drink a potion of youth and basically cried because Avash didn't throw that potion up into Pidge before dispelling the magic. Couldn't help but notice that was something that happened. I know of a place that is like an infinite potion of youth and works probably a lot better and way safer than the potion of youth would ever. So Pidge was like, "Cool, we can do that." Ruz was like, "All right, sweet. Fucking how much do you want for that? Because clearly you're a scumbag and you don't want anything for free." And he was like, "You're right. It's gonna be $5,000." So Ruz died. Pidge is sad boy. Tenebrae is like, if I upset the bird, I'm probably gonna die. So he decided to continue taking Pidge to the Fountain of Youth, this time for free. So that's neat. Pidge was like, "I'll pay you anyway." He was like, "No, no, it's okay." So, and that's the game that Ave DM'd. And Ave has this wonderful, beautiful world set in what she calls Weira, and it is this beautiful, beautiful place. And in it was a god, and
So the god knows a celestial that
it
we
was
fought.
celestial
Yeah.
god-ish thing.
Yeah.
Who absolutely I can't remember her name off the top of my head because I'm fucking dumb, but she caught them right before Pidge was about to go into the actual Fountain of Youth, and was like, "Oh, all right, hey Pidge, I know you. I've been deep in your mind." And Pidge was like, "Cool, I believe you." And and as was everybody, because along the way we were all seeing some pretty crazy messed up shit. Like Malcolm and Pidge both heard Ruz in their heads. Doc saw some weird shit. Avash saw Tally get impaled. So that was a bunch of really cool stuff. Paris also saw some stuff. He was like, that's not cool. Fucking, that's not kosher at all.
Not good.
But the goddess was like, hey, I know that Ruz is dead. And I know how to bring him back. And as proof, she showed a lovely, tiny white thread and handed it to Pidge and Malcolm. And they were holding it, and it was a memory of Ruz. And it was a fraction of his soul.
Now, how big is that fraction? You mentioned that earlier.
It's so small, like a tiny, tiny toothpick-sized fraction of soul. And it contains just a nice memory. It's a Pidge and Ruz's first kiss. And it was really delicate and small, and she could just bring that out. And she was like, if you want, I could revive Raz. All you need to do is give me your wings. Which, Pidge, being a flying creature who literally flies everywhere when he's given the option to, was like, that is like 98% of who I am. And then some bullshit happened.
Major bullshit.
And then some major bullshit happened. Basically, what happened was everybody was like, hey, let's question the goddess. And then Doc, with his good brain, was like, hey, if you can actually revive shit, there are dead bodies up top, on top of this cavern that we're in. You could go get one of those dead bodies, bring it back to life, and show us that you can, in fact, revive things. And she's like, all right, cool. It goes immediately up to go do that. And then everybody is yelling at Pidge, and Pidge is like, oh god, oh Jesus, I have 200 fly speed when I'm dashing and bonus action dashing. So he can make it to the fountain and back by the time that she is up there and still reviving shit.
Mm-hmm.
So he does. Pidge, being a 15-year-old middle-aged Aarakocra, is now 4 years old.
Yeah.
Just becoming an adult. She comes back, sees what we have done, and is like, you tricky little fucks.
Yep.
And then we rolled initiative, and now Malcolm died in the middle of the fight. Malcolm is being revived. because he was
Yeah.
gentle reposed, and he has Revivify on him, which doesn't specify whether or not the soul has to be willing or not,
Yeah, it just brings you back.
which is important because Malcolm is a suicidal motherfucker. But Malcolm's back to life and was gentle reposed by Avash. Avash
Mhm.
died, and nobody knew gentle repose. And also, Croak is playing in hardcore mode, wherein Avash dying
Iron Man.
means that Avash stays dead. So, while he, in theory, could have been revived, he's playing in hard mode. So Avash is dead.
So, let me cut off the story there because we still have a lot of show to go.
That's the
But-
story.
Yeah, that's it.
So
It
Avash, I'm looking at the character directory. Avash was the oldest character on the server, created January 29th.
Mhm.
Oldest
The
character
day
who's still
immediately after
active.
the server opened. Yeah.
The only 3 characters registered before that were Travis Xanthar by Ozzy and Zareth by Guile.
And Travis
So-
isn't correct because it was originally Vroom Vroom, and then
Yeah, it was Vroom
Uh,
Vroom, and then
Oz,
Oz. Okay.
Dom's is an idiot, and he was like, "I'm just gonna edit my new character into this and not re-register because I'm a lazy."
But regardless,
crap."
still
Yeah.
the oldest character who was active. So there, I
Yes.
think that the reason why I wanted to make this into a mini segment was the server hasn't been here for that long. It's been 4 months. Like you were 2 days away from making it 4 months. Not like that's an
Yeah.
anniversary or anything.
It
But,
opened exactly on January 28th this year. So
But what how do you feel about that? Right, so it's sort of a legacy. Every character
What?
on the server knew Avash to an extent. On a server that moves as fast as this, it kind of feels like you're losing a character that you've had for a year. And I think we've drawn that comparison one time, right? Like 4 months is about a year worth of sessions in West Marches. So
Yeah. Well, okay, so
give me your thoughts.
my first thought, right, is that I'm obviously sad. Like, it sucks to lose a character that you've invested so much into, and that everyone kind of was also invested in to a certain extent, right? Because everyone just kind of knew Avash was this guy who was flirtatious, like the highest level wizard on the server, and
yeah, even if you
was
were
just-
new on the server, he would welcome you in, and that's like, he would be
Exactly.
like your NPC, welcome aboard.
Yeah. And so there was a lot of like there's obviously like him being so old as a character, right, in the server. He had a lot of connections. And you know, losing that, right, not only is kind of like closing in a chapter of the server in a sense, or like a part of it, but also it kind of just proves that like the deadliness doesn't stop anywhere. You know what I mean? Because he was one of the higher levels characters on the server, and he still died. He was one of the oldest characters in the server, and he still died. So it's just, you know, there are no exceptions. No one is safe. You know what I'm saying?
So
But,
does that
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So, something I want to mention is, right, we've talked about this before as well. Players tend to come on West March servers in waves. You have a bit of a pause, and then a bunch of people join. You have a bit of a pause, then a bunch of people join. I'm excited to see, out of newer characters, who the next quote-unquote Avash is, right? A character who
Yeah,
earns a
we have
legacy
jokes that are like,
that.
"Oh, this is the end of season 2," and then these are all like where they introduce new characters, and everybody's
it's
like,
true.
"Oh, well,
It's,
Yeah.
but it's absolutely
true.
like that."
Which is really cool. It's like
Yeah.
sort of like a bit of crossover and all that. Okay, I don't have too much more on that because we do want to get to our guest Daleth. So,
Yeah.
if you guys have any more questions about
Ooh.
Crook and Avash, mention it in Twitch chat. We'll get to it. Dale, how are you today?
How am I doing? I'm doing
Oh,
good.
Tell us a bit about your character. And
My
what should we
character?
know about you? What should we know about your character?
Okay, well, on Planar Marches, I play a tiefling. His name is Desmond Emberhold Antillian Tylande's Hearth Home.
Hearthstone. Yep.
Hearthstone, inventor of Hearthstone, and that's all you need to know about him. No, Desmond goes by Independence, is his tiefling name that he has chosen because he is a fiendish warlock who's not really super into the whole being a warlock thing. I've been playing him about... Actually, I can tell you exactly how many days I've been playing him because that's how we do things here. I think it's been about like 50-ish days. So I've been here nearly 2 months. And I feel like I kind of dived into the deep end head first.
Which is what we recommend, right?
Mhm.
We recommend diving in.
Is that what you guys recommend?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's how you get to know everyone, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I do know everyone. Indy has a lot of friends. When I rolled him, I imagined him being a darker character than he ended up being, but the way his first few quests played out and the first kind of people that he really ended up being friends with, it took him in a lot of a different direction than I expected, and now he's kind of like the well, he started, I will tell you, he started lawful evil. That was the alignment I had on his sheets. And now on his sheet it says chaotic good. So that tells you how good of he is.
All the opposite.
Literally the exact opposite. So he's in his heart, he's a good guy who wants, people to be okay. Generally, he wants to keep his friends safe. But he also doesn't really think of himself as a hero. So he doesn't usually make a lot of self-sacrificing decisions, and he makes a lot more pragmatic decisions than most people would expect from like a good aligned character. So he is still sort of leaning towards that weird place of like distrust, and like he thinks differently about problems than other traditional hero characters. But yeah, that's where he ended up. I like him a lot. He killed his best friend like 2 weeks ago.
Cosbones mentions in chat, I will be hosting a TED Talk about how to make consistent evil characters this fall. Keep your eyes peeled for it.
I know how to make evil characters, it wasn't fun.
I think me and Crook...
It didn't end up being fun for this character. It wasn't right for this character, I should say.
Because when you actually meet people, you tend not to be a dick. And you meet a lot of people on the West Marches.
You do. That's true. I mean, you can be a dick, right? That's generally... being a one-note dick isn't really, like, fun for RP for anybody if your personality trait is asshole. So...
It's your ideal and your flaw.
Yeah, right. Your Bond ideal, flaw, all of it. Asshole.
Asshole. Wait,
no.
Never mind.
Wait.
Maybe not the Bond, but anyway.
My Bond is asshole.
I seek the legendary asshole. No, yeah, so that's where he ended up. He owns a bar now?
Yeah.
Got it from his friend that died.
Who got it from a friend that died. So owning that bar, whew, man.
It's basically Defense of the Dark
Rip in
Arts.
peace, Indy.
Yeah, it's right. It's Defense of the Dark Arts.
100% fatality rate so far.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how long Indy lasts. What I said earlier. Now the other two owners, I will say, made dumb self-sacrificing decisions, and I did just mention that that's the opposite of how he behaves. So maybe he'll be okay.
Yeah, that's very much true. Because Anna didn't have to go and do that.
Wow.
She did it anyway.
Kirk, do you have any questions?
I do. Actually. You kind of already answered it, alright? With the whole alignment shift.
Yeah.
But one thing I was gonna ask was, what was like the thought process behind just making Indy? Like at first.
Making him?
Right? Yeah, like before you decided that he wasn't going to be lawful evil?
Well, part of the thought process behind making this character is actually aspects of character design in D&D 5th edition that I thought were very interesting, and that if I went into would actually be a spoiler for his lore.
Gotta lock that lore box, TM. Only Budge has seen into it a little bit.
in terms of what kind of character I set out to make, basically in every RP community or like game session I've ever been in, I play kind of like a somewhere on the line between cute and sarcastic. Those are basically my two character traits, and I adjust as necessary. And I wanted to make a character that really didn't have either of those two traits and wasn't necessarily I mean, I play heroes. That's what I play. That's what I like. I enjoy playing characters that get in there and fight evil and all of that shit. But this character is different. This character has a very personal goal, is what I set out to make. Because most goals are usually just like, my characters are like, evil exists in the world, I will kill it. But this guy has a very singular quest that is a lot smaller scale. Relative to like the world is ending. It's basically like one guy did some shit to my family and everything else is just kind of extraneous. I'll do other stuff as long as it helps me either get stronger, make allies, or gather resources so that I can eventually kill this dude that I want to kill.
Okay,
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
nice.
That's a good one. I feel like I kind of did the same thing for Avash, but then no, that never. I kind of shoved that aside because I didn't find it as interesting as just having him be part of everything else. But I do like that, making it sort of central focus of the character himself.
Yeah, I
In
feel
terms
like
of the story.
a lot of that stems in like whether or not you are comfortable. Like we all know that, like in Mass Effect, there's like the good option and then there's the evil option. It's really hard for some people to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be the evil option just for fun," and like, I am guilty of that, especially because I see that option and I'm like, "Oh no, why would anybody ever choose that?" And then that's me. That's how I live my life. But if I like, even if I'm halfway through the evil campaign, I'll be like, "Oh, but I want to save the old lady, though. I want to save her."
Yeah, no, it's hard for some people, right, to do that because it's very empathetic, especially, and I think it's worse in a role-playing game because you actually have to think of the words to say as opposed to just selecting the option to do it, right?
Oh yeah.
So, but,
Like, how do I take this option and take how I would respond as a normal human being with a nice, decent brain, and then how do I 180 that?
yeah.
Jonathan asks, what is the meaning of life?
I responded with to play D&D, and I stand by that response.
I agree with Crook full-heartedly.
And then he asks,
if you die in real life, you die in D&D, and vice versa.
and then he asks, if you had one superpower, what would it be?
Dale, what would it be?
If I had one superpower,
Yeah.
Your question,
I think
Tree.
about this is a question that I feel in our areas of interest we've probably addressed at least once in our lives. Teleportation is what I would say, but like Nightcrawler style.
At will, yeah. I like that. That's a good one because that's dope. You know.
So
Yeah.
if you had
'Cause-
like, if you had to put a limitation on it, right? Like not broken reality breaking superpowers, would you accept teleportation within to anything you could see?
Yeah, basically the spell Misty Step, but better. Is
Misty
what I,
Step.
is how I
Misty Step.
Misty Step,
at
but the
will.
range is like just sight.
Misty Step, but as a cantrip.
Not even, because cantrips take an action.
Yeah, Misty Step as an innate racial feature
I
is
replaced
basically
my
the superpower.
I
Yeah,
replaced my movement speed with teleportation. There you
yeah, exactly.
I think flight
Jonathan's
would be
saying
pretty
that.
cool.
Ask this to everyone. You said flight?
Yeah. Like, I just like the idea of flying. I'm like terrified of heights. I'm a very short person, and that's my excuse is that I like being close to the ground. But like, if I could fly, that'd be cool. Like, I feel like the majority of my fear of heights is that I'm not actually scared of how high up I am. I'm scared of falling.
Gotcha. All right.
I think
If
I
I had
would
to pick-
go. Go ahead.
You want to go?
After you.
I was gonna say super speed, and my example is just gonna be the Flash, and that was it.
Like Flash level super speed is different than regular super speed too.
No, yeah, I know. I'm going with it.
I'd say short term turning back time. If you could go back a minute.
Oh, like
That's
the fucking
broken,
League of Legends character?
Is that broken? Okay, what time length would it have to be to not be broken? Like 6 seconds, 10 seconds?
I feel like 10 seconds is a hot amount of time to be like, I fucking spilled my coffee everywhere. I can undo this, and then just fucking
if you got
fix
good
that.
with it, if you got good with it, you can straight up just not make mistakes ever again.
Yeah. If you caught yourself fast enough, like, I would struggle with that initially, being like, oh god, I can fix this, and then just going back and just being like, right at the moment where the first drop of coffee spilled, and I'm like, well, I'm fucked.
Okay, so I've got two.
Like, I'm already mid fucking myself.
I've got two longer questions. Josh Jash. I see that Daleth brought in a few friends.
It's
Welcome to all you
Josh.
guys.
Yeah. Hey guys.
What are your thoughts? You got called a baby earlier. What are your thoughts on DMing now that you've had a chance to try it?
I have a lot of thoughts on DMing. My biggest one is I want to do it more.
Nice.
And secondly, it's stressful for reasons I didn't expect it to be. The things I thought would be important aren't the things that are important. The way that people interact with the situations you present in front of them is never the first 4 ways you expect them to. It's always the 5th one. And it's one of the most fun and rewarding things I've ever done in my life.
There we go.
Yay!
That's why everyone should go be a DM.
That is a wholesome answer.
It's good.
And then Ro asks, if you had to describe your character prior to death if necessary, so Ava,
Yeah?
as their opposite alignment, what would that look like?
Dale, you go first.
That takes a little bit of thinking.
Yeah.
Lawful Evil Indy looks the same mostly. I would say he's about 80% the same. The other 20% is mostly his motivations behind the scenes for what he's doing. He would be a much more manipulative person. He would act mostly the same, but the way he would request things of others and the way that he would offer support to others would always be self-serving first.
Yeah. It'd be like a deal, right?
He would be less personable, but more charming, if that makes sense. Like, he wouldn't relate to people in the same way he tries to right now, but he would be like the charisma would be up to 11 all the time.
20 actually.
Well, haha, yeah, he would be mostly the same, just with a manipulative twist, more or less.
Gotcha. I guess in my case, Avash started as a neutral evil, rather, but he made good friends who are good people, and so he stopped being a dick. But I feel like if Avash had stayed a dick, then that would be his opposite right now, because that would be fun to do. Just have an asshole, because he was a highway robber, and he was a bad dude for most of his life. So it'd be interesting to explore that more.
And then he met Pidge, and
then he met Pidge, and then fucking.
He met Pidge, and he was like, "I can't hurt this bird. What do I do?"
Fucking bird, he's god damn it. Evil Pidge, huh?
Evil Pidge, chaotic evil Pidge would probably be the worst Pidge. Pidge is chaotic good right now. I was so tempted to bump him up to neutral good, specifically because he has this thing where he helps others a lot, and he is really focused on making other people happy as opposed to making himself happy. I kept him as chaotic good because I feel like since Rose died especially, he's like a little bit more out for people he knows as opposed to people he doesn't know that well. He is a little bit more tempted to hold people who are close to him closer and people who are not as close to him further away, which keeps him in the chaotic good. Chaotic evil, Pidge, could you fucking imagine?
Jesus.
He just shows up and fucking shoots everybody in the head, one-shotting all of the new people for no fucking reason.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. I just imagine him, but like without the whole like being nice, I guess, to people. Because he's kind of like already chaotic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
he is absolutely chaotic.
He's got that impulse stuff going on, right? Where he kind of just does stuff that he feels is right. He lets his emotions kind of dictate a lot of the stuff he does. So just imagine that, but without like morality.
Yeah, he's like, let's start a revolution, and that's something that Pidge loves doing, is starting revolutions. But after that, if you put him into chaotic evil, he's like, let's start a revolution and just fucking break everything for no reason.
Yeah, that'd be good. What about what about you, Gavin?
Yeah,
you asked Gavin because you don't know what character to refer to.
Exactly.
Catherine or Anna, whichever you want.
So I know Anna better, so I'll answer as Anna. So you know in the movie where they go into the nightclub and the criminal boss is there sitting at a table? That would be Anna. Because she'd go from neutral good to neutral evil. So, looks out for herself. Kinda does a little bit of things on the chaotic evil side, so... Right now she's kind of the wholesome bartender, standing behind the bar, cleaning a glass while listening to your problems, trying to give good advice and all that.
Well, right now she's a post.
Well, yeah. But opposite would be, taking that same bar and turning it into, just some nefarious affront.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's godlike, actually.
Evie, do you have any questions for our lovely guest?
Who is your favorite person and why is it me?
Next question.
Dale, please.
I liked Hobbs a lot, actually.
Yeah, what is Dale's favorite in-character relationship he has had so far?
Oh, shit. Indy knows everyone, so that's hard to answer. Well, my favorite friendship was Raz, so RIP.
Still
RIP.
a valid answer.
Still a valid answer,
yeah,
sure.
the way they played off of each other, I think, was very fun, and how they both were basically acting kind of as like ambassadors to each other's culture, where Indy was like, this is how real D&D works. And Raz was like, this is how Earth in 2018 works. And the way that they played off of each other, where like Indy was just like, yeah, magic's real and you use your soul to do it. And that's just like, it rains sometimes. It's like the same level of statement for him. And Raz just cannot even comprehend the idea that like Mage Hand exists, let alone all the other shit you do with magic. Meanwhile, Indy stares at like a calculator and it's like, it does math for you instantly. And I thought that was a very fun relationship. My B answer, I guess, is G, because that's really like the only character he's really been at odds with. Like the way that they approach situations when they're on quests together is completely different, and the way that they interact in RP scenes is just like they don't hate each other, but they disagree on literally everything. So that's also a very fun relationship. Those are my answers.
What? How long have you been playing tabletops?
Tabletops?
Yeah.
Not role
Josh
playing,
knows.
but literally playing tabletops.
Josh knows because he DM'd my first session roughly 6 months ago.
Oh,
Wow.
I thought you were about to say 6 years ago.
Nope.
He's a bad man.
How long have you
About
been role
half a
playing?
year, yeah. Been role playing like a decade.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does the Switch feel? Like the
Nintendo Switch.
Great console.
The Nintendo Switch.
Really good lineup. Really good lineup of games. Controller feels great in the hand.
Yes, play snipper clips with me.
Fucking Christ. But no, like how does implying or implementing that role playing experience on other things into D&D? How does that feel? Is it like better? Is it worse? Is it the same-ish?
Well, I play D&D like 14 hours a day now, so if that answers your question on whether it's better or worse.
You're right, yeah.
It's very fun. It is better for me, actually, because in freeform RP, I get lost in choice. And so having the structure of like a rules setup and everyone kind of has a shared goal usually when you sit down at a table, right? Even if every character has their own like stories and arcs and shit they're dealing with, everyone's here to kill the orc boss or whatever.
Yeah, there's an objective, right?
Yeah, so even if one or two of those characters doesn't want to complete the objective, there is still a clear conflict and a clear way it plays out. So the structure helps me a lot making decisions.
All right.
Evie, have you got anything?
Boxers or briefs?
Briefs.
Boxers.
Okay. I like boy shorts. They make my butt look amazing.
Uh-huh.
So I'll just take your word for it.
Boxer briefs.
Boxer briefs, that's a good option too.
Briefs, yeah.
That's a good
You
option.
gotta combine it too, because those are nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Hobbs got one. I like this. What's your next character?
The thing on the horizon I'm looking forward to playing. I don't know.
What have you not played yet?
I usually make characters the day I start playing them. So that the day or like not necessary, but usually it's like, hey, I want to play D&D. What character do I use? I don't plan them out in advance. So
I hear you.
I mean,
do a one-day turnaround.
The next thing I'm looking forward to really in D&D is I'm being a DM for a thing that is ambitious and exciting, and that's all I really want to say about it. So I have multitudes of characters that I'm looking forward to playing, I guess.
That is also true. Yeah, because being a DM, you get to be everybody.
Yes, except the idiots.
Idiots. Well, no, you get to be an idiot sometimes. Depends.
Sometimes.
If you like fun.
Ro asked a question to everyone. What do you think would bewilder your character the most if they visited Earth? To narrow it down, I'll say like our modern era 2018 Earth.
Okay.
Humans? Only humans.
Yeah, that'd be weird, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, think of coming from if you're coming from Forgotten Realms, which is the quote unquote standard 5th edition setting, a place with only humans and extremely tall buildings, I think would be the like, two things that immediately and totally confuse the shit out of my character.
I love the idea of our characters who are traditionally in a D&D setting set in like the Renaissance era, coming to now and being like, what the fuck is a vaccine? We could have gotten rid of this like the entire time. What is running water? We could have fixed polio like 8 million times.
It's not
you
even.
don't need to fix polio because you have a person who can like rub some herbs on your arm.
We have god powers.
You have
where someone can go feel good now and put their hand on you, and all diseases end immediately.
Very like, minor.
Listen, I took expertise in medicine. All I need to do is make a 10 on this check, which I can't fail because I have a 10 in the skill. Here you go. Like, accept this.
But yeah, but it's like, oh, running water. We don't even get sick in the first place. Like, we have running water. We wash our hands. What is the Black Plague? Why did that even happen? Like,
there's so very
crazy.
Very minor side note. Okay, I don't know how many people here are fans of the Tales of series, like Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Asperia, stuff like that. Yeah.
Tales of Asparagus.
Tales of Broccoli. You know, the usual. Yeah. So there's a game called Tales of Xillia. One of the newer ones. Tales fans inside the room are going nuts over this. All three of us. But there were two races. There were two groups of humans. One in One World, one the other. Where one had this thing in their head called a mana lobe, which let them cast spells based on their natural ability. But the other world had machines that could cast magic. So like both sides thought each other were monsters. So on one hand, you've got one side who can naturally cast magic, and you have another side who can cast magic almost limitlessly based on machinery. So that's what that reminds me of. Like, which even things like magic would look pretty differently in a new context.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think.
Or like the ending of fucking Full Metal Alchemist, where it's like, oh, there's world A and there's world B, and if somebody dies in world B, it fuels the magic in world A.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
What
And if somebody dies in world A, they come back in world B, as if nothing happened, but they're a different person.
did Pidge or Avash have a specific that they wouldn't be used to, or that would bewilder them?
Evash is kind of a weird thing because
I feel
it'd be like
Avash wouldn't get. He would get minor culture shock, but wouldn't like totally
it
lose
wouldn't
it
just
in
like
one thing.
wow, you know what I mean? Yeah,
Avash is a weeaboo too, isn't he?
yeah, that's another thing.
Well, Avash has lived his entire life in Sigil, right?
Yeah.
So you're used to seeing at least some cross culture.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, there's no elves here. Shit, okay. Are all humans? What's this building? Can it just keep going up? Oh, you know what I mean? Or it's like, he would kind of just find everything fascinating more than what the fuck, kind of, you know what I mean?
What's Pidge's bewilderment?
Pidge's bewilderment. It would probably. I feel like he's not too horribly like, oh, everything is fucking new and scary, because that's his job, is to go to other planes and be like, oh, this is new and scary, and I love that. Pidge specifically would probably, God, I want to say like airplanes,
Right.
like
Big things flying up with him. Yeah.
Yeah, because like it's like, oh, everybody goes in this big thing and it goes way faster than I can. Like, he knows what an airship is, and that's kind of similar, but they don't go that fast. And arguably, Pidge would be able to absolutely keep up with an airship, and he has before in the past. That's how he saved Philippe's life, but he can't keep up with the 747 that's going like 1,500 miles an hour. And fucking spaceships would be like, oh my god.
Fucking space would be insane. Because, like, the most thing that they know is, like, the astral sea, right?
Yeah.
But other than that...
we haven't had a DM really explore Spelljammers yet, so that could still be a thing.
That still could be a thing, but, like, also the idea that there's Earth and then also space would be, like, completely foreign. They're like, what do you mean also space? Isn't that just... It's the astral sea, right? Like, it's like there's Earth and then you leave and then you're in the astral sea. But everybody's like, no, we're on Earth and then we leave and go to space and now we're on the moon. And they're like, oh, so is that a different plane? Or and it's like, no, it's the same
what
thing.
What spell accesses the moon? Answer me!
Can I just gate there? I have it.
If I misty step enough times, could I just make it to the moon? Or
yeah, how many slots is that?
Oh,
which character should I answer for? By the way, to chat, we're taking final questions right now. Gonna wrap up pretty soon. What character should I answer for?
Whichever one you want.
Both your characters are from Earth.
Right.
Both your characters have like that similar thing.
So Cat's from 2030.
Yeah.
Experimental arm, not really commonplace. That's the whole private military thing for her.
Anna is probably farther away.
Anna already got culture shocked when she went to Sigil and saw a tree for the first time.
Yeah.
Right.
So she would look at a forest, be like, "What the fuck is that?"
It's like, there's more? What the fuck?
It would probably be... So she comes from a dystopia, right?
Right.
It would probably be kind of like that whole somber thing. Like, we look forward to our media. We look at fiction and are like, yeah, that's a dystopian future. And she comes from that dystopian future. So she'd go back and be like, well, this is what life's supposed to be like. Fuck home, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel you.
She's like, "Oh, cool. If we didn't fuck ourselves, this would be it. This would be what we would like." But now she can't have that. Rip her.
Dale, do you have any questions for us as we wrap up?
Nah. I know basically everything I need to know.
Do you?
Okay.
Do you know?
No, I'm actually. Are you excited about getting Anna back?
More or less anxious, because as soon as I get Anna back, I have to answer so many questions. There are like so
You also have
many...
to duel me to the death to get Serendipity back.
Is that
so...
true?
No.
Okay.
No,
Because
absolutely
I'll go to the death. I'm fine with that. But
no.
you're implying that she's not gonna just kill you anyways for taking the bar.
Ooh. Ooh. It wasn't his choice though.
Yeah.
He accepted. No, I'm just kidding.
She's gonna be very confused. She's gonna
Um,
be like, "Wait, who the fuck is independent?"
No, it's I'm not anxious about it. I'm trepidatious about it. I'm like, as soon as Anna comes back, if I play everything straight, if I have all the conversations on screen, there's a lot to talk about, you know, so a lot to sort out. So
Yeah. That's
I don't know.
also gonna be something that the helpers are gonna have to look at too, because we're gonna have to figure out like how that's gonna work.
right.
So that's a
It's
thing.
a very unique situation on the game side of things.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain I'm going to retire her not too soon after, because I'm kind of deciding if there needs to be a personal quest that she needs to finish, or if I just want to let the storyline be saved for later. So, like, if Kat dies and Anna's retired, do I bring Anna back for a little bit, quote unquote? But there's a lot of little rule things that make that a little confusing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
we're
got
working
too
on
many
that right now.
too many questions. I do think that
A lot of.
if anyone from the council is listening, I do think that that this whole situation is so unique. It probably, you could write up a rule for it, but it would only apply to like one or two scenarios every few months.
Yeah.
Also, to answer Pensive Scribble's question in the chat, Anna does not own the bar anymore because after Avash Witten sacrificed himself, Anna Witten sacrificed herself, and then gave it to Raz, and then Raz Witten sacrificed himself and then gave it to
Well.
Independence. We're leaving it at that. We're not going to go
Listen,
into the actual
it could've
details.
Basically, what happened. That's basically what happened.
I mean, there were like so many other people.
Anna is not straight dead. She is trapped in a thing.
She's gay dead.
It's gay dead.
She's dead to people, maybe not dead. Yeah, that's a
get her
whole
back.
complicated situation, because I know that Crook and Evie and others are. Well, I won't say too much on it. This isn't the place for it. But
We're
That was-
doing our best.
that was fun, guys.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any shout outs they'd like to give? Crook, starting with you.
Obviously, my first shout out has got to be Tooth.
Oh! What? Near.
So shout outs to Tooth. Shout outs to characters dying. Shout outs to Pensive Scribble because she's cool. Shout outs to I don't know who else. The creators of Discord for letting us have this wonderful server.
Yeah, thanks, John Discord.
Has anybody
Thanks, John Discord.
has anybody played in a D&D server on like Mumble Event or TeamSpeak or anything?
They have
like,
those?
No, that's what I'm
What?
wondering. Like, did this whole concept exist before Discord?
It must have, right?
I can't
it had
imagine
to
it
have. There had to have
didn't.
been like Skype things, right?
But
Where
I
you
can't-
It
like-
must have been.
But
yeah,
not on
right.
the Discord scale of things.
I mean, obviously not. But like, that's like being like, oh well, did they have like soap in the back in the past? Like, did they have that? Or it's like, yes, they did. It's not as big as it is now.
But like with the ability to have like completely open public West Marches servers.
Yeah.
Because Skype groups
I don't think
can't
so.
be.
Like, well, obviously, a West
Forums.
March is a thing. Has been a thing for a long time. But that's
Yeah.
like a public thing, right?
Okay,
That's like you go to-
forums were
Oh.
probably the closest you
Maybe.
got, right?
forums,
just wasn't
yeah,
as
like
fast.
RP forums where it was like you just like you had like these groups of people who were like, oh,
It's all text stuff.
I'm gonna
That's the thing.
have like a text-based
Failing
RP.
lists. Back in
That-
the day, you subscribed to a West Marches mailing list.
It was it was a magazine, actually.
It's
You
like-
had
Once a month, all the threads got sent out to you.
It's
and
like
you
it's
could
like
write
play,
back in.
it's like
Yeah.
play by post, but you're playing by mail. It's like mail chess. You
Oh, good.
Oh.
just by envelope.
Jeez.
Let me fucking use my messenger pigeon to send this D&D reply. Hang on.
Independence takes a sip. Stamp some stamps on that. Send it off to Johnny.
We would have to
Ugh.
exacerbate our fucking roleplay quality from 2 sentences to like a million
Yeah.
books.
Lucen says,
Absolutely.
I think Discord's the first to make it where one group can have this many channels. So it definitely
Yeah, that's
existed
true.
in different forms, but not like this all together conveniently in one place. So yeah, good shout out, Crook. Kappas or PogChamps to Discord.
PogChamps. Nah, give me the Kappas. I want Kappas. I swear to God, if you put a PogChamp, I'm unfriending you in real life. Give me a Kappa. There it is.
Oh, Dale.
Evie,
Oh, remember how much time we used to spend watching movies, playing video games?
Evie,
Rip in
What?
peace.
any
Yes.
sh-
What are you
any shout
talking
outs you'd
about?
like to give?
Thanks, John.
Shout out to Guile. I love him. He does a lot
We
of
love
work.
him.
He's so much work. Shout out
Shout
to the
out.
gays.
Our dad.
Shout out to our dad. Shout out to our gays. Shout out to our gay dad. Well, I'll let you decide who that is. I love all of you. And that I love all of you. That's
Here we
it
go.
from me.
But Siriu, is IRC? Did people play D&D over IRC?
I don't know what IRC
Like,
is,
as
so
a
I'm gonna
West
assume a
Marches.
hard no.
As the West Marches, not just playing D&D. I'm talking about like West Marches D&D. I'll give shout outs to the one and only Rom, aka Sinosure,
Is he?
aka best mod in chat, who's not here right now.
Yeah. He missed a day.
Best
He
mod in
is-
chat that's not here right now, so I
He-
guess it would be best mod anyway, right?
Evie's quickly trying to get the title as best mod every time I'm online. But
Yeah.
shout outs to Rom, the glue that holds my channel and my psyche together. Shout outs to Raiden, who I've been working out with a lot.
I don't think that's true because he's never been to a gym in his life.
No, that's not true. He worked out that one time when we were on call with him, I think.
No, that was Guile.
Was it Kyle? Fuck.
but
Guile
Raiden's
goes to
put a
work
lot
out
of
all the time.
Raiden's put a lot of work into Verdankai, and now that I'm really like diving deep into working on one specific session, I can see like, yeah, this is a pretty cool world. I'm really excited to be working on it with you. So,
Yeah, that's actually
and then of
cool.
course, thank you, Dale, for being our guest today. You're doing a great job at the bar. Not that I pay attention. Is there any shout outs that you'd like to give?
I'd like to give a shout out to Josh for introducing me to this game both as a player and as a DM. He bullied me into running my first session, so thank you, Josh, for that. I'd like to give a shout out to you, lovely 3 people, for letting me ramble about my dumb tiefling for an hour. And I would like to give a shout out to Hob for being really cute. Thank you.
Wow.
Wow.
Shout outs to Hob for being a cutie.
Yeah, honestly, he hasn't sent me a picture of his face.
Yeah.
But that's only because he and I have an unspoken bond, and he knows what that means.
So a few quick programming notes before we close out. Thank you guys for watching tonight on this Saturday edition of the West Marches podcast. Everyone's schedules changes a bit, but if you like this day better, or have a preference between Thursday and Saturday, or really any day of the week, let me know, because we obviously can't decide for ourselves. So there's that. If you want to be alerted, go ahead and throw me a follow. Looks like we hit 90 followers, which if you look down at the banner is one of our milestones. So I'll be doing a 12-hour stream pretty soon here, which that'll be probably not fun at all, but we're going to do it anyways, Raiden has a question.
12
Type it in,
hours
bud.
is pretty good.
What day are you doing this? Because I'm going.
Not
I'm going
sure.
in.
Not
I'm
sure.
going in with you.
I'm gonna. I'll
I'll
figure
take
that
shifts.
out. I'll figure that
We
out.
can play
soon.
League.
I'll make an announcement. Yeah, I'll
We
basically.
play League. You
I'll
can
have to
yell at
skip.
me about for being how bad I am at League. You'd be
Oh.
like, "Hey, fucking get away from the tower, you idiot!" I'm like, "I'm sorry."
You run
I'm
away
trying.
from them, not towards them. No, run towards them, not away.
That's literally all that fucking Gavin says when we play League.
No, back, forward, no, back. I
Nope,
said
back,
forward.
Stop attacking. Go in.
Go in. Stop attacking. I go in.
Go in.
Just Shash, thank you for the
Good.
follow. So at 100 followers, we're doing our game giveaway. Crook was a part of that. He almost won. I re-rolled the giveaway
Almost,
as
what?
soon as the stream ended, and you were next. So,
Really?
Yeah. So that's a good
missed.
giveaway too. That's if you're a follower. When we hit 100 followers, we'll have a special stream at the end of the month for a $60 game giveaway. So that's pretty good. Up to 60, so you can buy whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I stream normally on Monday through Wednesday. If you guys want to give shout outs to your own streams or projects or whatever, please do so. But
Raiden has a final
Join-
question.
Join Planar
But we
just
can't. We don't have enough time. So
Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Chris Pratt, and Christopher Walken. Who should they have cast with Thanos? Rate the Chris's in order you would fuck them. All right. I don't. Christopher
this is-
Walken is Thanos.
This is specifically for me. Please let your guest speak.
okay.
All right,
okay.
fine. What the fuck?
Evans,
Yes,
DLC
Hemsworth,
numbers, thanks for the follow.
I agree.
Walken, Pratt.
Yeah.
Why
oh
is
wow!
Pratt
Walken
last?
becomes before
Walken?
Pratt.
Before Pratt?
Yeah.
What?
Listen, honestly, it would be for me. It would be Evans, Pratt, Hemsworth, Walken.
No, Pratt is first. You're all wrong.
No. Pratt's second because you can't actually beat Hemsworth. I'm sorry.
Wait, is it Captain
What?
America
No,
Evans or
Pratt-
like Evans after he grows a beard? Because that is a very, very large difference.
Oh,
Because
that is a-
Evans with a beard goes after Pratt with his cute little boy stubble.
Here's the
Yeah.
problem, Krug. Okay, so Pratt is the best Chris, but he's not the most fuckable Chris.
Exactly.
No,
That's
exactly.
kind of the problem.
No.
Exactly.
You might be right. Yeah, you're
No,
right.
See,
Never
I,
mind.
right.
I
You're right.
disagree heavily. I disagree because he feels like listen, he's not hot. He's not the sexiest of them all. But that's not what this is
I
about.
bet he would do
This
the
is
best
about
sex,
which
though.
one you would fuck.
Tycho,
Because he
thanks for
would
the
be
follow.
like so good at cuddling. He'd be so good.
I bet Pratt would be the best all around. You're
He would
right.
be a loving boy. Like
Okay, new list. Pratt, Evans, Hemsworth, Walken.
that was fine. We have the same list.
Good shit.
Solid Evans or punished Evans.
Dale, do you have any
yeah.
last words?
Do I have any last words? Follow me on Twitter.
Oh, that was the middle of a shout out.
Oh no, you
Yo!
got him!
did it.
No advertising on my stream.
God.
Oh,
Ow!
God.
Fuck! Ow!
Oh.
Oh!
Hang on,
Gavin removed Daleth from the group. I'm gonna fuck.
I need to sit down. Hang on.
Oh!
Oof.
Oh God! I can't believe you just killed him.
Are you gonna play the fucking sad music?
Daleth. It's not even Indy, just Daleth. He's straight dead now.